Hey YouTubers, thanks for visiting my channel. I am Asa Duggar, and today we will be talking about being in a dry season and walking in your purpose and knowing how to thrive coming out of that dry season and just pretty much just transitioning. So let's get started. So first, you may ask yourself, well, exactly what is a dry season? It's a period of low rainfall, humidity, a time where crops really don't grow. It's just a time where everything is dry and very stagnant. So sometimes you'll hear people saying like, oh, I'm going through a dry season, like I don't know what's going on, I don't know if God hears my prayers. Like it's just one of those seasons where you're just like, where am I going in life? Like where am I supposed to be? You're seeking clarity, you might be unhappy with where you are, you just might just be frustrated with just everything that's going on. But for me it was more of like, just like being stressed out with school and my finances and my relationships and just being like, oh my goodness, like what's going on? And as I'm kind of like in this storm and dry season, I wasn't truly being faithful as I should have been, and I started realizing that. So I was just like, you know what, I need to start praying more. I need to make God my #1 priority, the way I make school and the way I make everything else that I do. And as I started doing that, it became more clear as of like why I might have been going through this dry season. Pretty much God wanted me to be still and to recognize exactly what I was doing with my life and who I was surrounding myself around, and pretty much to just get me into a quiet place to just listen. Because sometimes God talks to us and we're always on like a fast pace of life and we're always just doing us, that we don't actually just listen. And He can be talking to you in the most simplest, natural way. And because you're such in this hurry and always like on the go, you can't actually recognize what He's trying to tell you. And it's like, hey, I'm trying to tell you something, or I'm trying to show you something, or I'm trying to bless you with this, but you're not even looking to even listen. So most of us get put in that dry season to really just calm us down and get us quiet and for us to just be still and know that God is God. And it's a very tough time because you begin to just be like, what is going on? Am I going crazy? Like you start praying and then you start questioning yourself like, God, can you hear my prayers? Like what? Like I don't understand, answer me. Like that kind of feeling. So that's why I keep kind of like hesitating to speak, because it's just like one of those things where you can't really explain how you feel. It's just like, what? Like what am I doing wrong? And pretty much what I learned from being in that dry season is just being faithful throughout anything that I go through. Still being able to pray, still being able to proclaim God of being the God of everything. Still being able to claim Him as the Omega and the Alpha, no matter if you can't pay your bills, no matter if you're not passing that class you want to pass, no matter what it is, God wants to see you be faithful regardless of whatever you're going through. And in that dry season, you will definitely learn that. I just have to say, like, you know, most of us, you know, we just want to live the life we want to live and be happy and have the best following on Instagram, this, that, and the third. But in reality, we have to understand that our life is not our own. Like God called us to do what He wants us to do, and each and every one of us have our own calling. But it's up to us to actually listen and to abide by God's calling. Because at the end of the day, like it's not our will, it's His. So sometimes you just ask God, you know, like, Lord, I just need clarity. Like what should I do in my relationship, or like what should I do with this and that? And as you're in that dry season, you're so at a low point that you have to listen, and that you have no other choice but to turn to God. You have no other choice but to continuously pray. And as you start doing that, you'll start seeing your life transform, and you'll start seeing yourself coming out of that dry season, shifting into like a new season where you're starting to see rainfall. And it will be very clear when you start seeing that. And it's really, really, really important for us to begin to start spending more time with God. One thing a lot of us do is say, oh, I know God. But deep down inside, we just know of Him. We know scriptures that our grandmothers taught us, or we recite things that we see on Instagram and on Facebook. But we don't actually sit the time down. Like, we don't actually sit the time out. Set the time out to sit back and really talk to God. And it's not hard. You literally just go somewhere in a quiet space and you just talk freely. You just talk like, hey God, today I'm trying to do this video, and the devil tried to distract me with, I don't know, waking up late. My tripod did not want to work today, but any other day it works. Just talk. I want to do this, that, and the third with my life, but I don't have the finances to do it. Can you bless me or lead me into a way where I can find those resources and those finances to just thrive? And just talk and be transparent. While you're in this dry season, just really take the time out to just pray and spend time with the Lord and ask God for clarity and ask Him to pretty much just shift your mindset, help you speak power words into your life, and help you stay faithful throughout the whole entire season, because it will rain like never before. And trust and believe, it's going to rain. God called you to be great, and that's what some of us don't actually understand. It's like, me? Really? And yes, He's like, really? You? Absolutely. God never fails. You guys really truly have to just stay faithful, continue to pray without ceasing, and really, like, in that dry season, don't allow yourself to fall into a depression or to harden your heart and get angry with God. Just listen and be observant of your surroundings. Put yourself in spaces where you're away from distractions and away from people who may intimidate you or distract you or make you feel any less than who you are. And when you take yourself away, like, that's actually how I found this place. In my dry season, I came out here and I sat, turned my phone off, read a few books, read a few scriptures, and pretty much began to, like, build a stronger relationship with God. And God started showing me things very clearly, like, hey, I need you to listen. I'm trying to elevate you. But what you're doing right now, I can't elevate you while you're doing that. So this is why I have you here, so that you can hurry up and grow up here. I think one thing that I learned while being in that season is stop being afraid, stop procrastinating, and do what you really truly want to do in your heart. Because I know my purpose, and I know what God wants to do with my life, and not a lot of people can say that. And I think I'm afraid to say that I know that, because people will be like, well, you're only 21 and you still have a lot of life living and you still have to learn this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I guess, and I listen, but you know what? Sometimes God will bless you with that reward of knowing what He wants to do with your life. And so with that, in that dry season, He was teaching me, stop being afraid, because, you're a child of God, and with me, all things are possible. And that's in Matthew 19:26. And He was saying, like, just stop being afraid, like, I'm your greatest reward. And that's in Genesis 15:1. And you'll learn, like, fear will really polarize you to think that you can't do anything that you want to put your mind to, but you actually can. And throughout that dry season, I'm like, all right, I need to stop being afraid. I need to stop having fear. I need to stop putting faith in fear and instead put faith in God. And that's what I was learning. And after that, you pretty much just, like, learn how to pretty much be transparent with yourself, with God. You begin to pray more. It becomes a lot more easier to just listen. And sometimes you just have to really put yourself in a position where you're like, all right, I need to discipline myself from certain things that are distracting me. Where can I put my attention and focus rather than putting it in places like Instagram or Twitter or any other place like that? And you'll find where you need to improve and adjust and do all those different things. So as you begin to come out of this season of a dry season, you will begin to be like, all right, well, let's thrive. Like, where can we go to thrive? And thriving actually means prospering, growing, nourishment, just everything. And, like, you guys see it, the plants behind me. I mean, when it's winter and when it's fall, they're not as beautiful as you see here. So they kind of go through a dry season of their own. Even though it's not like a desert or it's not necessarily dry, they are pretty much, I don't want to say dead, but not flourishing during those seasons. So these trees, during certain seasons, they thrive, and that's what they're doing right now. And I just want to say, just stay faithful, stay consistent in prayer, find time to meet and connect with God, and just actually be still and know that God is God, because at the end of the day, He will supply all of your needs, regardless of what it is. But actually just listen. Sometimes that's all we need to be told, is just listen. You know? Just listen. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. I love y'all. Stay blessed, be blessed. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, comment below, because I would love to answer them. With love, Asa Duggar.